Hey folks, welcome back to the channel, Long Shot Adventures. Today we're going to be doing an oil change on the 2021 Yamaha Grizzly 700 Special Edition. I'm going to show you what tools and equipment I use and accessories that seem to help make the job go a lot better, and hope you enjoy the video. So first of all, we're going to start out with our oil filter. 3 quarts of oil for this particular bike. I run the Yamaha synthetic blend 1550. Crush gasket, a 17 mil wrench, a driver, an extension to go on the end of the oil filter cap. That's to remove it. I just picked that up at Canadian Tire. There's 2 sizes. That's a smaller one. It's 7 centimeters across. A 10 mil socket and a 4 mil Allen key. Let's remove one of the plastics to help get to the oil filter. A pair of gloves, an oil pan, and a funnel. Now that one contorts, which will help you put the oil in without making a big mess. And the most important thing, which is what I should have mentioned first, a nice cold beer. So this beer here, this is New Maritimer Centennial. It's a pale ale, and it's from Miramichi, New Brunswick, Canada, which is kind of ironic because that's where I'm originally from. That's where I was born and grew up. So yeah, let's get into this bad boy and see how this goes. Every great plan on a day off starts with a cold beer. Kind of piney. So yeah, still not quite my type of beer, but we don't have to worry. We'll give it a home. First thing we're going to do, we're going to wheel the bike out, let it warm up, get it up to operating temperature. It's recommended in the OEM manual to have the bike warm. What they want there is to have the oil all going through the engine, and what that does is grabs some of the dirt and particles that are in the engine and helps suspends them in the oil, and so when you drain out the oil, it gets most of that dirt out. That's the first thing we're going to do now. We're going to wheel the bike out and let her warm up. We just had the bike outside there for 10 minutes warming up. It would be better, obviously, to drive it and get everything moving around, but with the crazy muddy weather we have here right now in Dieppe, I didn't want to rip up my lawn. So that's a good alternative to going for a drive. First thing we're going to do is we're going to pull the dipstick out. So on this particular model, we just turn this here, it pops out. We're just going to lift the dipstick out a little bit. And what that's going to allow is that there's no suction in there. Once we pull the plug, it will help to gravity feed it a little quicker. That's the first tip. So this is a view from underneath right now. So with my metal skid plate, it might look a little different than yours, but we're going to go back 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the 4th hole, that's where your drain plug is. Your 17 mil socket's going to go on there. So we're going to pull our oil pan down right now, catch all that oil, and let's get to it. So we're going to let that drain. Whoop. That socket's getting well lubed. We're going to let that drain, and we'll get back to you. So that didn't work too bad. A little bit of oil here, but not near what was there before. I'm just going to give that a little wipe. Some of the excess oil off. Push our oil pan out of the way. We have our new crush gasket here. You can see that. So we're going to install that. Because I got short fingers, I'm going to have to use the socket to put it back in place. That up. And as per the owner's manual, we're calling for 24 foot-pounds or 288 inch-pounds. Depending on what you got. I know this torque wrench here is kind of overkill, but it's the only thing I have that's actually in foot-pounds. That's it. That's 24 foot-pounds right there. Now that all the oil's been drained and the plug's back in with the crush gasket and the bolt has been torqued down to 24 foot-pounds, next we're going to do is remove the filter. So going on the right hand side, we slid our pan over And here we're gonna have to take this, some light here, we're gonna have to take this piece of plastic off right here. That's what we're gonna get to next, because I'm not sure if you can see well or not. Can't even see it. The oil filter is actually back behind that piece of plastic. So in order to remove that, we got 3 bolts. We got one here, that's a 10 mil. We got a 10 mil here as well. That's where our Allen key is going to come in. Over on this end here, a 4 mil Allen key. And the bolt down the bottom here. Now you're going to need a 10 mil wrench and a 10 mil socket, because that has a nut on the back side of it. See if you can see it back there. Yeah, so we'll get to removing those and get that plastic off. Now that our 3 bolts are removed, and down there, all that's left here is a little latch. Just gonna give that a little yank. And there. Now you can see the oil filter down here, kind of hidden in behind the pipes in the frame. So next we're gonna get a ratchet onto that and get that out. So a little hack I learned. Sometimes there's a little bit of oil on your wrench, or too much dirt on the oil filter end, and it will slip. So what I did there is I put a piece of paper towel inside to take out the slack and put the wrench on. And yeah, we're just going to turn that off there now. Well, maybe you can see now this different angle. So we got our oil filter off. There's the paper towel on the end of the oil filter wrench, and oil, a little bit of oil just seeping out of there. So we're gonna get that all out of there, cleaned up, and get the new one on. Next, we're gonna open up our oil filter. And as you can see, this one here, it's got a cover on it. Got some grease on it. Now, there's not a crazy amount of grease on that. They say that's enough to put on, but I always like to dip my finger in nice clean oil. Put a little dab of that on, and just rub that on the seal. We have a nice clean oil filter here all ready to go on. You put a piece of paper towel down there just to get some of that running off oil. And yeah, this is a pretty tight spot, so put my hands in on the way too much. And we're just going to screw it on like that. Get that snug. So no oil filters installed. Remove our paper towel. Away. So next we're going to torque our oil filter. And the specs call for 24 foot-pounds or 280 inch-pounds. 288 inch-pounds. So we have the oil filter on now and torqued. I couldn't get a proper shot of it with the camera and the lighting. My apologies for that. Every time I was trying to get onto the end of the filter with that wrench and the camera in there, it just kept slipping off. So I had to actually remove everything out in order to get in there properly. But we do have it torqued down. Next, we're going to add the oil. So next, we're going to pull our dipstick the rest of the way out. And we're going to set it on a nice clean piece of paper towel. Then we're going to take our funnel. We're going to stick it down inside. You're going to see why I need a long one that articulates. So now we don't have to worry about spilling oil all over the place. It's quite far in there, so without this you'd definitely be getting oil all over the place. So we're going to put a few liters in here. They give you 3, but it usually takes 2.5. And once we get about 2, I'll start double checking the dipstick each time, and we'll go from there. Now that we have all our oil in, we ended up taking 2 liters and 400 mils, as you can probably see down here. One thing to watch out for, I put my 2 liters in and it looked like it was full, but you do have to remember that your oil filter is empty. So your oil filter is going to take some oil. So usually what I do is I'll start it up, wait 30 seconds, shut it down, let it rest for a few minutes, double check the oil, and then top it up again. I don't know if you can see the camera will pick it up there or not. But yeah, we're at the full line there now, so we're good. Only thing left to do, put our plug back in, lock our cover back on. So we're going to start the bike up for about 30 seconds. See down there, I put a nice clean paper towel underneath the oil filter. I want to make sure that the but there's no oil coming out. I did torque it down to the specs, but you just never know. Something could have cracked, something could have not have. Want to seat it right. You don't want to be caught in the middle of the woods with all your oil leaked out because something happened in the installation of that. So I'm going to fire up the Grizzly. We ran our bike for 30 seconds. Slip our hand in here. Wash the exhaust. It's very hot. Pull that out. That's it. No oil. All good. That's just a little bit of oil there from the skid plate. But yeah, all nice and dry. So we know we're all in good shape there. Next we're going to put the side plastic on. Button that up with those 3 bolts. 3 bolts in. And this one here. One on the side. One down the bottom. That's one double nutted. So you're going to need 10 mil socket here and a 10 mil wrench put in the back. And the one on the side here, as you can see, has the Allen key. I did want to mention that the used motor oil I put back in the containers, the empty containers. I'm lucky enough that the Canadian Tire here, our local one, they take that back for free and they recycle that, as well as the oil filter. So it all gets disposed of properly and keeps that out of landfills and stuff, which is important. Another thing is I don't use the funnel or my clean funnel to put oil back into the containers. I have another funnel only for used motor oil. You don't want to be turning around unless you can get your funnel very clean, which is very hard to do. You don't want to be putting dirty oil and then turning around your next oil change putting clean oil right into your engine with a dirty funnel. Other than that, I'm going to take the pit boss out of the corner there. I'm going to get smoking up some hamburgers and have a beer. Every job well done deserves its rewards. And as always, be safe and take care. Thanks for joining me.